Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Farzy Show. I'm Marc Farzetta here at the Steven Singer Studio. It's not if you win or lose, it's how your starters play the game. And I loved how the Eagles starters played the game last night in the preseason. Sure, it was a loss to the Pittsburgh Steelers. No one gives a damn about whether or not they won or lost the game. It's all about how the starters played, and I loved what I saw from Jalen Hurts last night. I also love what I saw from Quez Watkins last night. Better learn the man's name if he's going to be such a stud receiver for this team this year. And if I'm going to take a number one in fantasy, this is a great game overall from what you saw from the starters. And by game, I mean 2 series. There's some other stuff that we'll go over throughout the day, throughout the show about what I liked, what I didn't like from last night's preseason game, the opener for the Philadelphia Eagles. The Phillies won a ball game, and just like that, they're right back in first place. Now a half game up on the New York Mets and a game up on the Atlanta Braves. So that's fun. Sixers won another Summer League game. Tyrese Maxey dropped in 31 points. So we got a lot of meat on the bone, as they like to say, for today's show. Adam Caplan will join the show coming up in just a little bit to break down all the things he saw from the Eagles starters. Also, talk about just a fascinating new fantasy football league. This thing blew me away. It's called the Hall of Fame Fantasy League, and Adam Caplan runs a team on it. It's pretty wild. Jason Avant runs a team. It's basically professionals that are in the business or were a player themselves. Terrell Davis, the brand new Hall of Famer, newly minted Hall of Famer, is actually the commissioner of the league. So we'll get that information from Adam Caplan coming up in just a second. But when I think about what I saw last night, the first thing that pops to mind is how good a practice player is, how good a practice player Jalen Hurts is versus how good a game day quarterback and player Jalen Hurts is. So it seems practice-wise, not so great. Game-wise, pretty damn good. And I always say this, I've been saying this for a long time. Numbers never lie, but they sure as hell deceive. And when you look over the numbers from Jalen Hurts last night, 3 of 7 for 54 yards and a quarterback rating of 69.9. Nice. That's what you look at and you say, oh, wow, he had a bad game. The 2 series that I saw him play, I thought he played very well, especially the first possession. That drive should have kept on going. That drive should have ended in a touchdown with the way they were moving the football down the field. He had a great pass to Dallas Goedert. He had a nice pass to Zach Ertz to open things up. Had a beautifully crisp pass to Dallas Goedert that actually put them in some great field position, and they were supposed to strike. They were supposed to carry on instead of just getting the field goal. Unfortunately, you get 2 drops on that drive. You get a drop from Jalen Reagor, which the ball was not perfect. There's no doubt about it, and Nick Sirianni said so after the game as well. But that is a very catchable ball. Anytime you're a professional wide receiver in the NFL and you get 2 hands on a football, you got to catch that ball. And you also have to consider the route, too. The route wasn't just a turnaround route. The route was a comeback route. Was it thrown a little bit underthrown? Yeah, but that's a ball that Jalen Reagor needs to catch. I put that more on the receiver than I do Jalen Hurts. Then it was a 3rd down pass that hit Zach Ertz right in the chest. And unfortunately, the Eagles did not have a good day overall on 3rd down. 0 for 8, I think Nick Sirianni said after the game. So that was none too impressive. But it was a very strong opening drive as far as Jalen Hurts went. And then Jalen Hurts throws a bomb down the left sideline to Quez Watkins that actually, if he'd had no contact with the defensive back, probably would have been a touchdown. It would have been a 98-yard touchdown because they were on their own 2-yard line. And you have Jalen Hurts standing in his own end zone, bombing it down the left side of the field to Quez Watkins, and unfortunately it fell incomplete. Maybe it was a little overthrown as well, but that was a bomb attempt there on the left side of the field. Love the idea that he had the cojones to try to throw that. There's a couple of praises that Nick Sirianni showered upon his quarterback yesterday that we'll get to. We'll let you hear from Nick Sirianni himself coming up in just a second. But overall, I was impressed with what I saw in the first 2 series of the game. Now, here's the disclaimer I feel like you always have to throw in whenever you're talking about training camp, whenever you're talking about preseason play. It's the preseason. Who gives a damn? But, as I've been saying, leading up to this game, just show me you look like you belong. That's it. Look like you belong. And Jalen Hurts certainly looked like he belonged. The problems that I saw yesterday were not the problems that I saw in training camp, and not the problems I've certainly read a lot about in training camp as well. He looked like a guy that was ready to lead this team, and that's all you can ask for. Now, somebody else was making their debut yesterday, and that person's name is Nick Sirianni. Nick Sirianni is a first-time head coach, and there's a lot of things you can look at. And going into the game, there was a couple of things that you don't really talk about all that much because he's a coach. This is what you should expect. But let's just live in this fantasy world for a second. If Nick Sirianni went out there yesterday and the Eagles went out there yesterday and there was false starts and there were delay of game penalties and the team itself looked disorganized, we would be killing Nick Sirianni right now. The conversation today would be, oh, Nick Sirianni can't even organize this team. Oh, his press conferences are terrible, and he can't speak publicly, and he can't even organize this football team. There are false starts, there's penalties, delay of games, calling timeouts late in the play clock. All that didn't happen. This was as organized a team as I have ever seen coming out of training camp, going into their first preseason game. So good on Nick Sirianni for that. It was clean. Like I said, no penalties. It looked like a team that was ready to go, and that's coaching. So for all the people that wanted to jump to a conclusion right away because the guy had a bad press conference, and as I said on this show, we're not going to make fun of the guy, but we're sure going to have fun with him. He had a good first step. That's all it was. It was a good first step. I like to call it the natural habitat. He was in his natural habitat last night, even walking off the field talking to Spuds at halftime. He seemed like he was cool, calm, collected the entire time. And after the game, he talked about how fresh and how clean the first half of play was, at least, and the first two series with his starters. And not to mention, Joe Flacco as well. Joe Flacco going out there hitting Quez Watkins for that, 79-yard bubble screen to him on the outside there. That was great to see as well. So overall, Nick Sirianni on how his team played the first and second half.
Crisp first half. A lot of good things in the first half. Again, there's things that clean up. But the first half, I thought we looked pretty sharp there. And then the second half, right, just got sloppy. And that was my message to the team. And again, you got to go back and look at the tape. But again, it felt like crisp first half, sloppy second half.
It kind of feels like Nick Mullins was sloppy. Some of the younger guys on the defensive side of the ball weren't as crisp. One of the guys on the defensive side of the ball that I thought was very crisp was Alex Singleton. Not only was there a layoff from last season to this season, but Alex Singleton didn't get to start out camp at just around the same time everybody else did because he got put on the COVID protocol list. I had reached out to him. He said he was good to go and he was asymptomatic and all that. And then the story comes out, I think it was from Jeff McClain, where Alex Singleton is running sprints in his house down an 11-yard hallway. Whatever it takes to get that work in. Whatever it takes to get that work in, fella. And he comes out with 7 tackles right out of the gate for you yesterday. So he picked up right where he left off from last year. Always around the football. That's what I love about Alex Singleton. So he played well yesterday. He even got in the backfield on the touchdown run by the Pittsburgh Steelers yesterday. And there was one name I gave you yesterday of a few names. One name I gave you yesterday, Zach McPherson. I wanted to see how he did. Had the pass interference penalty in the end zone. I thought that he had the pass interference play and then just about let up a touchdown that was dropped. It turns out he actually still broke up the play, but it was pass interference. And he dropped an interception, but he still, pass interference was the call. It was pass interference. It was a good call, but he still broke up the play and then dropped an interception. And then on the very next play, the Steelers ran it in for a touchdown. But on that touchdown run, Alex Singleton got penetration, got into the backfield, and just missed the tackle for loss to maybe hopefully prevent a touchdown on that possession. Wasn't the case. The Steelers ended up scoring. But that was one name defensively I was looking at. Overall, linebackers I thought played well. Defensive line, some of those guys played really well, especially the 2 rookies that were out there for you yesterday. I believe it was Williams and Jackson, Taron Jackson and Milton Williams. Williams is the 3rd-round pick, and Taron Jackson is the 6th-round pick. Those guys played well yesterday. Williams had a great inside move on a sack that I believe went to McGill on that, where he had a good bull rush up the middle. So that was good to see. And then you just saw some good pressure from Taron Jackson, the 6th-round pick, right up the middle as well to force an errant pass. So some good stuff from a young defensive line as they were out there yesterday as well. There's no question, though, the number one person that people look at is the quarterback. That's the most obvious thing you could say. So yesterday, Nick Sirianni, I thought, spoke the most glowingly about his quarterback yesterday. Here is Nick Sirianni on Jalen Hurts and what he brought to the table.
Yeah, I thought he handled it well. He made a really good check and a great throw to Dallas for a big play. He saw what defense was coming and he checked the play. A ton of credit to him for that and making a perfect throw there. I thought he went with where we wanted the ball to go, versus the defenses they were going. He had a couple drops in there, so I was really pleased with him. And then you got to see him. He kind of lost Zach in the middle there. You got to see him break contain and make a play that way with his feet.
You love to see it. I saw exactly what I wanted to see from Jalen Hurts yesterday. No more, no less. I mean, I would have loved to have seen the catch down the sideline to Quez Watkins. I would have loved to see Jalen Reagor haul that one in. I love to see Zach Ertz haul that one in over the middle. But everything else, that's just all I wanted. 3 completions might not look like a good thing on paper. But again, numbers don't lie, but they damn sure deceive. And that's what you saw yesterday. Hey, Joe Flacco, okay. You did what I wanted you to do as a backup quarterback. Your numbers were more impressive. Still, I would have loved to have seen. You'll probably still see more next Thursday when you see the Eagles take the field again from Jalen Hurts. Maybe even a whole first quarter. Maybe even a whole first half. I don't know. Let's get crazy. One thing I will get into with Adam Caplan is that Deshaun Watson reports. And I've been looking at that, and it's been hook, line, and sinker this entire time. It kind of went away for a second, and then I feel like it kind of took a step back or a step forward again when the news came out with Carson Wentz from Adam Schefter. Carson Wentz saying that news coming out that Carson Wentz was going to most likely still start week 1 for the Indianapolis Colts, which still gives them the opportunity for at least 70 snaps so far, 70% of the snaps for the Colts this year, which would automatically make that conditional second-round pick flip to a first-round pick and give the Eagles those 3 first-round picks. Adam Caplan, not so sure about that. So make sure you stay tuned for Adam Caplan coming up. Do want to get back to the Phillies for a quick second here. How about – oh, no, wait, hold on. Time out. Stay on the Eagles. There were 2 Hall of Famers announced yesterday by Eagles owner Jeffrey Lurie. One of them, John Runyon, a man I've got to know pretty good over the last couple of years. Big fan of John Runyon, couldn't be happier for him. And then a guy I've gotten to know really well over the last couple of years, and that's my former partner, Trey Thomas. One of the best people you can meet, I'll tell you that much. And I was thrilled when I heard the name Trey Thomas first pass through the lips of Jeffrey Lurie yesterday. When they threw it to Jeffrey Lurie in the video for announcing the Eagles Hall of Famers, and I heard the name Trey Thomas, I was like, what? Wait, hold on. Is this some kind of, is he setting up to talk about somebody else here? What's happening next? And sure enough, Trey gets into the Hall of Fame. I could not be happier for my man. I texted him last night. I could tell he was just overcome with emotion. And yesterday, he took to Facebook to thank all you fine Eagles fans and the city of Philadelphia, as well as the Eagles organization, for making him an Eagle Hall of Famer.
Hey, what's up, Eagles family, man? What an honor. I am so sorry that I couldn't make it up for the game. Right now, I'm down here in Bradenton at IMG getting my MFDs ready to go to war this season. So we've been putting in work. We're in the middle of training camp, so I couldn't really make it up there for this preseason game. But I am looking forward to coming up on October 14th to celebrate this thing with you guys. This is such an honor, and it's not taken lightly. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Eagle Nation, Eagle family, my family, for taking me in and treating me like a son. Much appreciated. And Ryan, man, congratulations to you, my brother. Hey, go Birds.
All right, I'm giving you let's see. Just don't say yes or no. Trey Thomas cries. Trey Thomas cries. I'm saying, if you're asking me during the ceremony, if Trey Thomas is crying when he gets inducted into the Hall of Fame, yes, you're damn right he's going to cry, and he's probably going to have a glass of red wine when he's up there too, which will only help the tears flow more. Congratulations to my friend Trey Thomas. Could not be happier for him getting inducted into the Eagles Hall of Fame. So I just couldn't be happier for the guy. It's awesome, man. It's awesome. By the way, there's a game. If you're a younger person and you're watching this, and you didn't really get to see a lot of Trey Thomas's career, there's one particular game against the Dallas Cowboys where John Madden himself simply says that Trey Thomas was throwing guys around like rag dolls as a right tackle on this football team. You got it. Left tackle on this football team. Jeez. It's pretty it's pretty funny. It's on YouTube. Check it out before the NFL pulls it. So congratulations again to Trey. Now, let me just tell you about baseball real quick. Again, the Phillies are back in first place, half game up on the Mets now, who were idle last night. And then the Braves lost last night, so now they're a full game back. Phillies in first place by half game over the Mets. Bryce Harper came out, hit his 21st home run. Go figure, solo shot. Ranger Suarez went out, pitched himself a hell of a game. And Joe Girardi did the closest thing you could do to getting fired on your day off without getting fired on your day off. The baseball equivalent is getting thrown out with 1 out in the 9th inning. Ian Kennedy goes up, paints the corner with what would have been a strikeout, and sealed the deal at the end of the game. It didn't happen. I believe you'll see it right here. Joe Girardi got thrown out of the ball game with 2 outs in the 9th inning right before the Phillies won. Listen to Joe.
I did learn one thing. Ian Kennedy can get a 5-out save. I learned that today, right? But they don't have to swing for it to be a strike, right? I know, and the one to Seager is a great pitch. The one to Bellinger is a great pitch. I mean, and what I don't understand is I was walking down the stairs and that's when he threw me out. I mean, come on. Either throw me out when I'm yelling at you, but not walking down the stairs. I was done yelling. So, but he doesn't respond. He doesn't say anything, whether they're strike or not, or he didn't say one word. And I don't get it.
I was done yelling. Don't throw me out as I'm walking downstairs. I was done yelling. I don't know why I found that so funny, but I'm watching the post-game press conference yesterday, and when he said I was done yelling, it's like, I've said my piece, and you haven't done anything, and now I'm done. Now you throw me out. The man's got fire. Man's got fire. And I'll just say this again. Look, they won one game, and if you caught me on Fox yesterday, me and Mike Jarek were going back and forth about what we were expecting from this series. I wasn't expecting them to beat the Dodgers two games to 1 in this series. I was expecting them to win one game. I was expecting them to avoid being swept. And they should have won game 1. Screw you, Mother Nature. Yeah, I said it again. And I got about 4.5 hours to drive after the show to Pittsburgh for my cousin's wedding. And guess what? If Mother Nature wants to bring it, go ahead. Bring it, Mother Nature. I double dog dare you. Make it hot. Go ahead. I'll be in my air-conditioned car, enjoying life. I actually enjoy the cross-state trip. I think it's lovely. I always like to be reminded that somehow we have Alabama in the middle of Pennsylvania, or in the middle of Pittsburgh and Philadelphia. But yeah, so anyway, I'll be in my nice air-conditioned car, and I'll probably stop for fast food, because if you don't stop for fast food and on a little bit of a road trip, are you even having a little bit of a road trip? But Joe Girardi was fired up. Phillies are now going to have a series against the Reds, and hopefully they get back to being pretty awesome. Joey Votto has been on fire from what I understand, so hopefully they find a way to squash that. That'd be nice. Let me tell you about my good friend, Steven Singer of Steven Singer Jewelers. Getting engaged? Thinking about getting engaged? Got somebody special, their birthday coming up? Need a big jewelry purchase? You go to Steven Singer of Steven Singer Jewelers, the other corner of 8th and Walnut, right on Jewelers Row in Philadelphia. Go use their appointment scheduler on IHateStevenSinger.com. Always fast and free shipping, by the way, at IHateStevenSinger.com. Make yourself an appointment, stop on in, and a real jewelry expert will walk you through everything right there at the store. You can trust this person because every single day, you know what they're going to give you? The perfect price. It's not about walking in and saying, oh, you should have been here yesterday when we had that amazing sale. No, every day is the amazing sale, because when you walk in, you don't have to feel like you negotiate. You don't have to feel like you're haggling. All the pressure is relieved. That's why people say, I hate Steven Singer. There's no excuses. You go there, you buy the diamond that you want, the diamond at the perfect price every single day. 365 days a year. No promo codes, no discounts. Everything's already discounted at the perfect price, so you don't have to worry about negotiating. And a real jewelry expert will help you with the purchase that you want to make. Ready for love diamond engagement rings? They're right there at the ready. They don't call them that just to be clever. It is a fantastic place, and they make everything just so easy for you. So do what I do. Go to IHateStevenSinger.com. Use the appointment scheduler. Make yourself an appointment and stop on in to Steven Singer Jewelers, the other corner of 8th and Walnut. And once again, always fast and free shipping at IHateStevenSinger.com. Let's get into this Eagles game just a little bit more and hear about this incredible new fantasy league that Adam Caplan's a part of from Inside the Birds podcast. Joining us on the Rothman Orthopaedics guest line, my good friend Adam Caplan joins the show. Now the Rothman Orthopaedics guest line from Inside the Birds podcast that he does with his friend Jeff Mosher, in front of the show as well. The great Adam Caplan joins the show. What's going on there, Adam?
Marc, good to be with you. Yeah, there's a lot going on around the National Football League and fantasy football, which we'll get to, and good to be with you.
Oh, no, I want to start off with the fantasy because this is something I didn't even hear of until our mutual friend, the man that runs your podcast, man that runs my web show as well, Josh Weinfeld, told me about this incredible fantasy league that you're a part of here. Hall of Fame Fantasy League? What is this here, man? It sounds fascinating.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool. So it's a 10-team league. So-called fantasy experts or guys who have been in and out of the fantasy business like myself. I started in the fantasy business, Marc, in the mid-'90s. I left it in the early to mid-2000s to become a reporter, but I've always had one hand in it, and I've been a co-host on SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio. My friends and I started that show on NFL Radio in 2004. We're now in our 18th year, so I'm still involved in it.
I'm sorry, who'd you start with? You cut out for 1 second.
John Hansen of fantasypoints.com. We've been doing this show forever, and John has a team for his Fantasy Points company. I have one for myself, and Andrew DeCecco will be my partner for this draft, who writes for us on Inside the Birds, and has been a contributor since we started the company back in 2018. So we're glad to have him along. And it's really cool. You can actually back the team. You can invest in the team, which is really cool. So go to their website and check it out. And it's a really cool concept, which I really think is interesting.
Now, yeah, so the concept is that these are run by, like yourself, professionals, some ex-athletes. They're actually running the fantasy league, which is unique about this.
Exactly. And when you look at it, right, the guys are in this no fantasy. Like, I've played, goodness gracious, for years. And the guys are in it are really, really good. There's no question about it. You can follow them on Twitter, by the way, at the HOF League, at the HOF League. And if you follow it, the draft is actually Sunday. You could watch it live. It'll be on just about every platform, Facebook, Twitter. You could get a stake in the team, as I was talking about. I am the owner of the team. Andrew's helped me out for this draft. We've got Jason Avant, who's our captain, the great Jason Avant, who's a host of ours on Inside the Birds. We love having Jason. We love having Jason along with us. So it's cool because it's a 10-team league. 10-team leagues, your teams are going to be stacked. But there's so many good teams in here. There's so many really good guys who know what they're doing. Friends of mine in the fantasy business are in it, so it's going to be very cool.
Yeah, and people can download the app. You could stake a team. You could participate in the community. You can win prizes as well. So make sure people do that to participate in the Hall of Fame Fantasy League. It does sound fascinating, my man. I know a lot of people were fascinated with the way at least Jalen Hurts started out the preseason tonight, playing not one, Adam Caplan, but 2 series for the Eagles tonight. What'd you make of the early goings of the preseason for Jalen Hurts?
Yeah, look, he was good. And don't forget, there were 2 drops. So he was 3-7, 54 yards. The pass to Goddard was phenomenal, a 34-yard pass. I mean, that was a great pass, good run after the catch by Goddard. So they got off to a good start there. And then Joe Flacco comes in, throws a slot screen to Quez Watkins. He runs 79 yards downfield. And Watkins, as you know, Marc, has had a really good training camp. So he's helping to solidify the 5th receiver job and, quite frankly, one of the top outside jobs, because Greg Ward is their 3rd receiver technically, but he's not a downfield threat at all, as we know. So it's look, Watkins might, I'm not saying he's gonna play over Jalen Reagor, but Quez Watkins has outperformed Jalen Reagor in training camp. That's just a fact.
Hey, if it's all about competition, according to Nick Sirianni, ugly Kez, as Darius Slay called him, is certainly that competition. Speaking of Nick Sirianni, though, I know it's one of those things, and I hate to play the what-if game, but if Nick Sirianni, if his offense was slow, if they took delay of games, if they took a lot of penalties early on, we'd be killing him for it today. Very clean for a first-time head coach and first-time play caller in the NFL, I thought.
Yeah, look, no doubt about it. Miles Sanders didn't play, didn't dress, which I don't quite understand why, considering he played a lot of his starters in this game on offense. The guys were healthy enough to play. Why not play Sanders? But look, I always said if you're going to rest starters and go rest your starters, if you're going to play them, then play them. So Jordan Howard got in there. Kenny Gainwell had a lot of work. Kerryon Johnson got some work. Boston Scott got some work. So they really executed pretty well in the first half.
Mm-hmm. Anything else jump out to you from this game that maybe surprised you or something that was at least pleasant to see?
Yeah, the defense. Look, the defense did very well in the first half. I understand Ben Roethlisberger did not play. I get that. But Alex Singleton was back off the COVID list. He got a lot of action. He had 7 combined tackles in the first half, so that was good to see. T.J. Edwards is very active. He's had a very good training camp. So, look, everything's pretty positive. I don't think there's any really true negatives right now. And this is good because they had a lot of guys that could not play in this game due to injury, some key players. So they had a really good first half, and that's pretty important to carry some momentum going forward here.
Away from this game, obviously there's still a lot of talk about whether or not Jalen Hurts is going to be the starter going forward, if they're going to make a trade for, say, Deshaun Watson. Where we are at right now, and Adam Caplan of Inside the Birds podcast, I'm asking everyone this question. Who will start more games for the Eagles this year? Jalen Hurts, Joe Flacco, or Deshaun Watson?
It'll be Jalen Hurts will start the most games. Yeah, I would say that.
Okay.
The Watson thing, Mark, is just that rumor that came out, I don't know, a week and a half ago was nothing. It didn't mean anything. Nothing has changed. The Eagles have had interest. They've dug into it. They've looked into it as the Panthers have from afar. The Panthers are an extreme long shot. The Dolphins have had some passing interest. So look, their teams would have been lined up right outside the door there in Houston. But with these legal issues, it's not anything that's going to move right now.
Okay. All right. I'm happy to hear that. I didn't want to pay what would have been a king's ransom to get Deshaun Watson here. I'd rather, as I've said a million times already, my audience is probably sick of me hearing it, just stick with Hurts, give him the year, see how he does. And if not, hey, with Carson Wentz probably still starting the year for the Indianapolis Colts, you still might get that third first-round pick in the upcoming draft. Adam, I got to ask you this, man, because as a fantasy guy, you've been playing fantasy a lot longer than I have. Has this ever happened to you? Has Adam Caplan, the great Adam Caplan, has he ever made a pick in any fantasy league and all your buddies or colleagues yell, taken? Has it ever happened to you?
Oh, yeah. You know what? We've all done that. It's embarrassing. You mean take in? Yeah,
take in. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, yeah. But it's so funny you mentioned this because I despise it when people do that. I've done it once or twice in 30 years of playing this thing, fantasy football, but it's ridiculous because what I use an Excel file and I just darken the name. Once you've taken the player off your board, you bold it. That way you leave the guys who are not bolded or available. I don't see how that happens. It's funny you mentioned that. It does happen. Now, it typically happens, though, in live in-person drafts.
Yeah.
Which unfortunately we don't have much anymore. Most drafts are done on the internet. I haven't drafted in person. I don't know how many years. I miss it, those live in person drafts.
Do you remember your first ever fantasy football selection?
I could tell you the year. It would have been 1990, and it was a league, Mark, where it was a bunch of friends at work. We worked in the King of Prussia Mall. Okay, I was in my mid-20s, and It was actually a league with defensive players in it, believe it or not. And the funny thing is about that one, I learned Deion Sanders is a great football player, but bad at fantasy if you're going to draft him because nobody throws at him. It was all about tackles. Nobody would throw at him. So he wasn't very good.
Gotcha. My cousin Greg, who always loves to remind me of this, Greg Oates, what's going on? My cousin Greg always likes to tell me that his first fantasy pick ever was Chris Collinsworth.
Real? Oh my God, that would have been in the late '80s before he retired. Really? Wow.
Yeah. That's when he got started. And when I started working for Sunday Night Football and was literally running a machine for Collinsworth, my cousin told me that right away. And I had no idea that was the case, man. Too funny. Well, hey, look, it seems like an incredible fantasy football league. I can't wait to follow all this stuff. I know you're going to be on it. You're going to be doing it with Jason Devon and all you guys there. Oh, do you have a team name? I wanted to ask you that. Do you have a team name?
Yeah, the Philadelphia Powder Kegs. The hat and the shirt I got in the mail. The hat is awesome. I love the logo. The draft, by the way, is 5 p.m. Eastern on Sunday. You could download. They have an app. Again, follow them on social media. Pretty much any way you want, and it's the Hall of Fame League. And Terrell Davis, the Hall of Famer, by the way, is our first commissioner. And they're on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, you name it. They're on it. They have a podcast, which I'll be on during the season. And you can get stake in my team. Our team's going to be really good. I promise you that. It's only a 10-teamer, so most leagues, as you know, Marc, are 12 or 14, typically 12. Not many are 10, so there's no excuse for not having a great team. And DeCecco and I will do a great job. Trust me on that.
I don't doubt that. I don't doubt it even a little bit. Adam Caplan, last thing for you. I want to end it on the Eagles. Zach Ertz is still here in Philadelphia. What's the feeling about him being moved? Do you still think he'll play the season here? What do you think happens?
Same as the last time we talked. I told you the Eagles had no leverage right now. Then, whenever we were on together last, might have been in June. Once you got past the draft, teams already fill that tight end position. That what they need, what they would need is exactly what I said before. They would need a team to lose a pass-catching tight end for him to have enough value for that team to trade for him. And then you've got to get through the $8.5 million salary, which he has this season. So it's not going to be easy. The time to trade him was the draft. The Eagles tried. He was available. They had talks with teams. They could not get anything they were willing to accept. And he's still an Eagle. But as I've told people, let's wait till August 31st when we get to what we call the fluid 53. That's the initial cut down to 53. And our first cut down is next week. We get down from 90 to 85, and then we have another cut down on the 24th, then the big one on August 31st.
Easy enough. Adam Caplan, Inside the Birds podcast. Thanks so much for joining us. Also, make sure you guys check out the Hall of Fame Fantasy League as well. Adam, thanks so much, brother.
Thank you.
Always good catching up with the great Adam Caplan for all our Eagles needs, of course. And I love this idea. I would love for that Deshaun Watson story in terms of the Eagles being in pursuit of Deshaun Watson. I would love for that story to just go away. I'd absolutely love that. I don't want Deshaun Watson. End of discussion. I don't want Deshaun Watson. You guys know I don't want Deshaun Watson. Zach Ertz is only going to be traded if somebody else gets hurt. Those are the two major football takeaways I took away from my conversation with Adam Caplan that we recorded after the game last night. So right there. And that fantasy football league sounds pretty awesome. So definitely make sure you check that out. Let me tell you real quick. Well, first, let me say this. My apologies. Dan Schwartz, thank you, buddy. Hit me up in the comments here. I was wondering how they only got a half game back, the New York Mets. They were not idle. They played a doubleheader. That's what I get for watching the Phillies and then going right to football, in my mind at least, and ignoring what anybody else was doing. But bottom line, still, first place Phillies, and I'm a big fat idiot. 2 takeaways from my baseball conversation. We'll get to our social media check in just a second, but right now, let me tell you about Rothman Orthopaedics. Rothman Orthopaedics. Remember the old you? Remember the one who didn't have the finicky knee, the fickle hip, or maybe the shoulder that did what a shoulder should do? Well, if you want to get back to being you got to use the Rothman Orthopaedics approach. It's here to get you back to being the old you, back to running, walking, working, and playing, back to living your life the way you want. With same-day appointments available right now, you could start today at RothmanOrtho.com. That's RothmanOrtho.com. Rothman Orthopaedics, the official orthopedic partner of your Phillies, Eagles, and Sixers. And I hope you're following your Phillies, Eagles, and 76ers as well with the PHL Sports Nation website. That's right, Philadelphia Sports Nation. That's Philadelphia Sports Nation, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience. Oh, Steak and Maine. SteakandMaine.com for more information. Make sure you check out my man Tony Cavada across all his social media platforms as well to see what he's cooking up next, quite literally. Steak and Maine, fine dining in the heart of Northeast Maryland. Whether you dine at a more upscale steakhouse or casual bar and patio, you'll enjoy the highest quality of prime meats, fresh seafood, world-class oyster bar, and freshly prepared sushi. All that in an extensive wine list that also includes Cavada Cellars wines. I always recommend the Pinot Noir with a fine steak from Steak and Maine. Open every day for lunch, dinner, and Sunday brunch. Steak and Maine in the heart of Northeast Maryland. Voted #1 place for steaks in America. That's saying something. by the Travel Channel and the Cooking Channel. Check it out for yourself. Go to steakandmaine.com for more information. steakandmaine.com. Make sure you do that. Check out steakandmaine.com. Let's move into our social media check-in, brought to you by Steak and Maine and steakandmaine.com. Ladies and gentlemen, you guys are on fire today in the comments, which I always appreciate. The day after an Eagles preseason game, I just felt excited just to watch football again. I felt excited to see fans in the stands again. Loved every ounce of that. Let's see what the good people are saying. Dan's leading us off here. Good morning. Hurts looked very good, but don't want to get carried away. I did see Sam Bradford go 10 for 10 for 120 yards, 3 touchdowns in Green Bay, but Hurts did look good. Look, here's two things that I hate in football. Dan, you're not doing this, but a lot of people do this. I feel like people will acknowledge things they liked in the preseason and then feel like they have to throw in that disclaimer, like I did at the beginning of the show. It's only the preseason. I don't want to get carried away. That's one thing I hate about football, is that you feel like you always have to say that when it should just be understood. Like, it's not breaking news that it's preseason. The other thing is, if everybody stays healthy, that's the other thing I hate. But it's two things, as fans, you always feel like you have to say. You have to throw that in there. Otherwise, the next person comes in with, oh, it's only the preseason. Here you are putting Sam Bradford or Jalen Hurts in the Hall of Fame. Oh, you're going to say Brandon Brooks is going to stay healthy when he can't stay healthy. No, I think those are the two most understood things in football. Yet when I don't have a good counter response to whatever you're saying, I'm going to say how you're putting somebody in the Hall of Fame based off 2 series in the preseason. And I respect this. I had a conversation with somebody on Twitter last night about how the the Jalen Hurts throw to Quez Watkins when he's standing in his own end zone was the only incompletion that was like his fault, because there were 2 drops and then there was the throwaway, which was a smart throwaway by Jalen Hurts. I felt the pressure, got out of the pocket, bought some time, nothing there, threw it away. Fine. Good play. Did not take a sack. Good play. But I went back and forth briefly with somebody on Twitter who said the Jalen Reagor drop wasn't Jalen Reagor's fault. It was Jalen Hurts' fault. I disagree. And Nick Sirianni even said as much after the game that it was more on Jalen Hurts, or excuse me, Jalen Reagor. It was more on Jalen Reagor. That play was on Jalen Reagor. If you're a wide receiver in the NFL on a comeback route and you go to lay out for it, and it wasn't even like it was like a dive where it was thrown at his feet so that it's in an area that nobody else could get it, like one of those types of deals. And you see like 80% of wide receivers make that play. On a comeback route, you always have to consider the route, people. You have to keep that in mind. On a comeback route, that he's going back, his momentum's carrying him towards the football, and he hits it, hits him in both his hands. You got to make that catch. I mean, do you know in the NFL, most teams will consider it a drop if a wide receiver goes full extension up in the air to try and catch a high pass and just tips the ball with his hand. Just tips it. Oh, he got his hand on it. Should have caught it. Most NFL teams consider that to be a drop, which is, I feel, wildly unfair. But when it hits you in 2 hands, you got to make that catch. Jalen Reagor should have made the catch yesterday. I put that on Jalen Reagor before I put it on Jalen Hurts. But in this little back and forth on Twitter, the gentleman said, come on, I'm not saying Jalen Hurts is trash, but that throw is that drop is on him, or that incompletion is on him. I still beg to differ. He still put the ball in an area where the wide receiver could get 2 hands on it. Therefore, I go more on the wide receiver. But it was a respectful conversation, but he threw in the caveat, I'm not trying to kill Jalen Hurts. And what did we highlight for you last week with Nick Sirianni? What is it? A wise man avoids all extremes? I believe we were avoiding all extremes in that conversation. Mally's checking in on the program. Say good morning to producer Jim as well. Good morning to you, Mally. April's checking in. Good morning, April. Carter. What's happening, Carter? Welcome in. Jason, good morning. Nice to have you on the program here. Phil's in. What's up? Don't take the stank of the way you say. Well, it's not as much stank. I feel like, Dan, if I say Quez, that's more stank than Kez, right? I feel like Quez, that W sound in there, kind of gives you a little bit more stank, no? I feel like it does. By the way, if you guys didn't see the peacock rendering that Dan did for me on social media, I suggest you check that out. Because we made the comment, Dan put it together of me peacocking around, and he put my face on a peacock, basically, because I do a phenomenal impression of a peacock, humble brag. It's how I impressed my wife to marry me, or date me to begin with. But then he put that peacock on a horse from the Colorado trip, and it's. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. It's Michelangelo-esque. Next time I'm in Rome, next time I go to the Sistine Chapel, I'm gonna look up and see creation right next to it. It's gonna be me. It's gonna be my face on a peacock riding a horse. Just gonna say that. Jason's checking in. What's going on? Matt's in there. What's up, Matt? Who doesn't love Adam Caplan? Breaking it down for us. Did Nick Sirianni? Phil wants to know if Nick Sirianni got a new haircut. I don't know, but I'll tell you right now, Chief, he looked like he was in the freaking zone yesterday. That's a My New Haircut reference. That's a 15-year-old internet reference for the old heads out there. Let's see. Maybe it's the humidity. Maybe. We got a special guest today, too. For the love of God, please let it be Harry Mays. No, I'm sorry. The special guest the second guest I was planning on having for you fine people today, thank you for reminding me, is going to be Monday's show now. Special guest will be Monday's show now. So make sure you don't miss that. It's not Harry Mays, unfortunately, Dan. I apologize. I know we'll get Harry on one day. Matt's back. I'm hoping Trey, especially at the Eagles Hall of Fame announcement. No, I can tell you it's not going to be Trey. I don't want to disappoint you with thinking that it's Trey. We'll get Trey on eventually. Look, the guy just got into the Hall of Fame for the Eagles, okay? He couldn't even make it back for the ceremony. John Runyon did. He's working his ass off down there in Florida trying to get these young guys ready for their careers. So that just shows you that the guy is a busy man. And I've been trying to get him on the show. We've been in touch. It just hasn't worked out just yet. Let's see here. April saying Trey is crying for sure at his induction. I think Trey even knows that Trey's crying at his induction to the Eagles Hall of Fame. Call him out on Twitter. He'll respond. He's a real dude. He was probably high, not as high as Marc, but high. Who are we calling out? April, Trey needs to come on for a full interview soon. I could not agree more. Met, that's where you tell me the Mets were not idle because I'm a big idiot. Thank you. Farzy abusers? Thomas, who's a Farzy abuses? Oh, Farzy abuses. No, I'm a gentleman. Jim, I'm gentle, right? He just gave me in the off camera. He kind of gave me yeah, sure. You jerk. No, just kidding. Let's see. Dan, screw you, Mother Nature. That's the slogan for ExxonMobil. Come on. What else do we have? Inside the Birds, of course. Promote your own, of course. Adam Caplan. Again, let's talk about crap on Mother Nature, especially with a named storm out there. This is typically not a great time of year for North Carolina-wise. Ooh, yeah. Sorry, North Carolina. Screw you, Mother Nature, everywhere but North Carolina. Be nice to North Carolina, Mother Nature. That's my public service announcement to Mother Nature. Brad's checking in. What's happening, Brad? Nate. What's happening, Nate? Dante, the internet. What an old guy move. Love it. We call it online. I remember, real quick, side story. I remember the first time I went online. The first time I went online. I went into a chat room. I was hanging out with my uncle, who's also my godfather. And his son at the time was only like 4 years old, my cousin Adrian. And we were just hanging out. And he's like, Marc, you're a sports fan. You like talking sports. I want to say I was like 13 or 14 years old. And he goes, but 15, probably 15. And he goes, you're a sports fan. He goes, you should go in one of these chat rooms and talk sports with some people. And I remember going, no, because I think I just saw the movie The Net with Sandra Bullock and Dennis Miller. And I was like, no, those people will find me and they'll hunt me down. I'll say something. I'm going into a room full of people I don't know. What if I piss somebody off and they want to kill me and throw me in the back of a van and take me somewhere and throw my body in the bay or something? That was what was going through my mind. So That was the first time. That was my first internet experience. And then, of course, you go into you take a computer class and you stop playing Oregon Trail for a damn minute to go on like some website about the news that they made you go to in school. And I just remember the teachers then saying, "Hey, soon you're going to be able to go online and you're going to be able to go out there and buy stuff for shopping online. You won't have to go to stores anymore." That's and the internet. And then here I am making my living on the internet nowadays. It's a beautiful world. And I have my own online store, Farzy t-shirts. Go to buy a Farzy t-shirt. Too damn early, guys. Ha ha ha. JK, fly Eagles, fly, baby. You're damn right. Mally, I heard he got another strain. Okay. Most Cap, no Watson. Cool. We're all on the same page. Too much Mother Nature for me not to chime in. Was on Twitch, easier to close the app and listen. But yeah, TF, where TF is the weather girl. I guess we do need a weather girl. I think I'm going to finally take that hint. You guys are doing fantastic, by the way. Appreciate everyone chiming in our fine chat this morning for our social media check-in brought to you by Steak and Maine at steakandmaine.com. Always appreciate you guys. What was I going to get? Oh, here's what I got. I got Sky Motorcars. This brings us Sky Motorcars. Brings us our Morning Rush. Morning Rush brought to you by Sky Motorcars and SkyMotorcars.com. Morning Rush segment today. Got to talk some Sixers. There was two things I got to get into with the Sixers. Other than the fact that they won, they're 2-0 in the preseason now, and that preseason. Summer League play. Tyrese Maxey steps in last night. Gets you 31 points. 31 points, ladies and gentlemen, for you last night. And not just that. There was something I wanted to highlight yesterday that made me feel good. It gave me the warm and fuzzies here. Tyrese Maxey goes out during practice, and I believe this is from Kyle Newbeck, our friend Kyle Newbeck, put it out there. Tyrese Maxey says that him and Ben Simmons talk all the time. That is a great sign. I'm still rooting for Ben Simmons to come back. I want all the bad stuff to be false reporting and all that. And this, the report that was out there saying that he has broken off, Ben Simmons has broken off all communication with the 76ers, hasn't even talked to teammates. For that already to come out as not true, I love the idea that that's not true. And I did see Colin Cowherd go out there 2 days ago and defend the city of Philadelphia and defend the 76ers as far as Ben Simmons went, about how Ben Simmons has been coddled and Ben Simmons has done the Sixers organization has done everything right by him. For him to not be returning calls to the organization is a complete BS. Thank you, Colin Cowherd, for being on the national stage and saying what you said. It's exactly what I've been saying. That if this is all true about Ben Simmons being disgruntled with Philadelphia or being disgruntled with the organization, that's on you, Ben. That is Ben's fault. When I even brought up the conversation of not giving Ben Simmons a rookie max contract 2 years ago, people said, "Oh, how dare you? You got to give it to him." And I'm like, yeah, but he hasn't really improved. He's coming to the league. And he came into the league pretty good. He's still pretty good. He came into the league very close to being an all-star. Now he's a 3-time all-star, but hasn't improved upon anything else. The shooting isn't there. The mid-range game isn't there. The free throw shooting isn't there. The attack mindset is spotty at best with Ben Simmons. And yet they gave it to him. The organization gave it to him. Hey, Ben, we trust you. Here's the max contract. You'll be fine. You'll improve. He hasn't. If this all goes, tails up here, it's Ben's fault. Organization also defended him like crazy in the public eye. It's all on Ben. But for the story to come out, for Tyrese Maxey to go out there and say that he talks to Ben all the time, I love that. I want him to talk to Tyrese Maxey. I want him to have a good relationship with his teammates. If he's pissed at anybody, hey, sometimes business is business. I still don't understand why he would be pissed at the Sixers organization. Can't handle getting benched? Well, hey, man, hit your free throws then. But for Maxey to come out and say that he speaks to him all the time, I love that. That dispels one of the rumors I was hoping was false anyway. I know I talked about whether or not he was returning text messages from Joel Embiid. That was just an example I threw out there for a young guy to say that this more veteran player in Ben Simmons is still talking to him. Great. Good. Thank you, Tyrese Maxey. But thank you more so, Tyrese Maxey, for the 31 points in the Summer League game last night. That's what you want to see. You want to see a young guy like that stepping up when he should be stepping up. Hey, look, if you talk about the preseason really not being that big a deal, then obviously Summer League's not supposed to be that big a deal. But the same rules apply. Look like you belong. be in a role that you should be in. If Tyrese Maxey is going to get significant playoff minutes and be an impactful playoff player for the Sixers as he was in the series against the Hawks, then you know what? If you're out there in the summer league playing against a bunch of guys that really haven't played that much ball at the professional level yet, and this is your first exposure to the summer league, then guess what? Go out there and do exactly what you should be doing. 21 points in game 1, 32 points or 31 points in game 2. Tyrese Maxey, let's keep that going. Phillies are going to be starting this series coming up here with the Cincinnati Reds. That gets underway tonight at 7:05. Joey Votto's been on fire. I said that earlier. Let's look at some of the numbers from Joey Votto real quick because they're pretty incredible here. I have the numbers right here. Joey Votto started out the season April and May. April, he hit 242. May, he only had 11 at-bats, dealing with an injury. But he only hit .091 in the month of May. Then June, things start to heat up. 293. Hit 293 with an on-base percentage of 369. Nice. July, Joey Votto hits 11 home runs in the month of July. He hits 319 with a 440 on-base percentage. Now, most recently in August, 351 batting average with a 419 on-base percentage with 4 home runs. Over the last month, Joey Votto has hit 351 with a 442 ERA. Oh, excuse me, 442 on-base percentage. So I'm hoping Zach Wheeler, who pitches tonight for the Phillies, I'm hoping his ERA stays safe when facing a guy like Joey Votto, who has been one of the hottest hitters in baseball over the last month of the season. Pretty impressive right there. Joey Votto is a bit of a lightning rod for fans. He loves to tease kids that he's going to give them a baseball and then throw it away. I love the idea of him being a villain. I don't know what it is about Votto, but I do like that Canadian fella. So we'll see how he does tonight. But the Phillies are going to start this series with the Reds tonight. Reds actually have 2 more wins than the Phillies on the season. And they'll start up this 3-game series beginning tonight. Zach Wheeler will be on the hill for the Phils. Aaron Nola looks like he's going to finish this series out coming up on Sunday afternoon at 1:05. Yet to be determined who's going to pitch in the middle of this rotation. Somebody asked me the other day, who's the Phillies rotation after Kyle Gibson? And I was like, where's your dartboard and your face chart, basically? Because that's all Joe Girardi could do at this point is throw a dart at a board and say, yeah, that guy's going to start. And hopefully that guy's not Matt Moore. Hopefully it's never, ever, 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 ever Matt Moore, ever, ever again. Last thing, fun little side thing. My buddy Bennett just sent this to me, and it's awesome. Hey, this is going to be like a little bit of a nostalgia show today for you if I'm going to bring this up. The movie She's All That. Rachel Lee Cook, lovely. Freddie Prinze Jr., what happened to him? Here's the deal. He was in that Punky Brewster show that I don't even know if it still exists. I don't know. But anyway, I think it was on Hulu. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it was Peacock. I don't know. Hell. Anyway, they're coming out with a She's All That spinoff called He's All That. Just take that and do what you will. My questions are, will Usher be the DJ at the prom? Will Freddie Prinze Jr. or Rachel Lee Cook have any cameos where they play teachers? And other than that, I'm clearing my schedule, so I make sure that I see that. I don't know if it's going to be a movie or if it's going to be a TV show. Excuse me. I think it's going to be a movie. August 27th. Let the party begin. August 27th. She takes off her glasses and she's beautiful. And you mean to tell me any girl in the mid-90s wearing glasses saw that movie and went, oh my God, I'm ugly. Better take my glasses off. Anyway, I got to tell you, going back to the Eagles football and what I saw last night, wanted to get into this one thing. To talk about Nick Sirianni at length in terms of what we saw from him and his offense and how crisp everything was. We'll let you hear from Nick Sirianni after the game, excuse me, about how crisp everything was, especially in that first half. One name I haven't mentioned yet for this Philadelphia Eagles team. 2 things, really. One is Jonathan Gannon and his defense. Same type of thing. Didn't see a lot of penalties. I believe the first one you saw was Zach McPherson's pass interference in the end zone that I already mentioned. But everything else was aggressive. You didn't really see him do too much as far as blitzing, not that type of aggression. But in terms of being around the football, making solid, sound tackling, all that stuff, that looked like the stuff that you want to see from an Eagles defense, especially this early in training camp, this early in the preseason, where you haven't done any tackling really at training camp so far. You haven't done anything like that at practice. So getting this opportunity to see them on the football field and look as sharp, especially a guy like Alex Singleton, who hasn't lost a step like I mentioned earlier, seeing other guys, Marcus Epps coming up, making some hits at the line of scrimmage, him coming up from the cornerback position, him coming up from the safety position as well when he was dropping back. Seeing guys like that be that aggressive and making those sound tackles, that's exactly what you want to see. And also, who was it? Tyree Johnson, the convert tight end. He had himself a good game on the offensive side of the ball as well. There was one more thing that I was going to give you guys as far as that game went, and it's slipping my mind. It wasn't McPherson. I mentioned him. I mentioned Nick Sirianni already. Miles Sanders was held out last night. For the post-game show, I'm going to be doing throughout the entire season with Derek Gunn and Devin Caney and John McMullen and Lane Johnson. Lane Johnson was on the show with us last night. We did a little bit of a dry run. Lane was kind enough to call in, so I do have some info from Lane. Nick Sirianni ended up saying it anyway in the press conference afterwards, and you heard it from Adam Caplan as well. If your starters are going to play, they should play. And that includes your starting running back in Miles Sanders. Miles Sanders did not play. Nick Sirianni said after the game, and Lane Johnson told me after the game as well, that it was just the coach's decision to hold him out. Not hurt, not injured. He's fine. Just a matter of holding him out for the first preseason game. Maybe you'll see him in preseason game number 2. Maybe. I would assume you're going to see all your starters in preseason game number 2. But according to all the reports and according to Nick Sirianni, no injury, just decided to hold him out for the first preseason game. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, everybody. Always a pleasure. Hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful rest of the wonderful weekend. Hope the Phillies get a couple of wins here against the Reds, and then we can come back and talk some Phillies baseball coming up very, very soon. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, everyone. My thanks to Jim Hyden for producing the program. This is a Buzz Sports and Entertainment production. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube. Appreciate it. I think we got just what do we get here? 1,140. We just went over that mark. So thank you for that. And also make sure you hit us up on all our social media platforms. Follow us there and subscribe wherever you get your podcast as well. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Lester, thank you. Appreciate you saying it was a great show. Have a great weekend, everybody. Talk to you Monday morning. Take it easy.